Hey guys, what is up and welcome to another video. And in today's video, I will be making a story time. And in today's story time, I want to talk about something in particular. Now, in today's story time, all of these stories are all in the same category, meaning that they're all in the same class. So, all of them are all affixed. There's not one that's separate from the other. And I'm going to be explaining to what I mean by that. So, they're all in the same class, which means that they're all affixed. And a lot of the same people are in this story. So it's just really funny. So I'm going to be starting off with something which really caught my attention first, and I'm going to be heading towards that. And it's such a funny story. So the teacher said, right? And this is a facts class. This is a nutrition and wellness. So hopefully this makes sense. So the teacher said, don't run because the floors just got like wiped, right? Dude, tell me why I start running head first straight to the table. Like my friends were at this one table, right? And then I went towards that table. I went full sprinting and then I just slid under the table. Dude, it was so funny. Cause like I just crashed straight into the table. And then that's one story time, It was really funny because they're all like, the teacher literally just said, don't run. And like, who runs to a table, to be quite honest with you? Like, my brain cells back then were like second to none, if I'm being quite honest with you. So, here is another story time. And actually, this is going to give me some light in this story time. So, in this class, right, this teacher was giving this analogy, right? And she was like, everything with this one story, and it's like, do you remember who the bus driver was in this story? And to be quite honest with you, I know who it was because I've watched one of these like YouTube videos which like goes over this, and it's like this, right? So how do you spell silk, right? And then what do cows drink? And then if you said milk, you'd be wrong. Cows drink water, okay? But that's like the kind of analogy that's being used in this story, right? It's like one to really make you think and one to really use your brain. And instead of like trying to trust in yourself. So the teacher goes through the story, and then I'm like, so what color were the bus driver's eyes? And then I'm like, blue, or it was like, who is the bus driver? And then it's you, or something like that. So that's mainly just how the story went and whatnot. She asked the whole class, who was the bus driver? And then I'm like, oh, I got this because I watched the video. And then I'm like, first I said Ron, like as a joke, or I said something along those lines, just something which was obviously not it. And then I'm like, okay, I actually have the answer this time, and then I said the answer. And no one in the class knew the answer because they didn't watch YouTube as excessively as I did back then. Like, I'm not gonna lie, YouTube was like my bread and butter for like the days, I swear. But anyways, the teacher was impressed, because I knew it, and then I told her how I knew. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna lie, I watch a lot of YouTube. If I'm being real. And I told her that, and then she just like started dying for the most part. She's like dying inside. She's like, oh man. But regardless, though, she was like, you did pay attention, and that does matter, because there are a lot of people, now, especially nowadays, it's a lot more coherent to see, and it's a lot more obvious, and it's with people just not paying attention. There's a lot of people who are just like, ooh, let me look at my phone. I got a text message. Like, that's literally people nowadays, and it's just sickening to think about. Like, you literally can't have a conversation with someone without them looking at their phone. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I'm trying to talk to you. I'm not trying to talk to your phone, which is right in front of you. Like, I get it, I'm attractive, but I'm not that attractive that you have to keep taking a picture every second. But, all jokes aside, let's get into the next story, which is just so funny. And this was in like a blindfold thing that we were doing in that class. It was like you lead somebody by saying something, and then it goes like back and forth. So somebody who I knew, right? It was like I'm not gonna say his name, but he was a really close friend at the time, and then over time, we just went our separate ways. I feel like that goes with a lot of people, and that does suck. There's a lot of people who you want to keep close, but I swear, like, those who you try to keep close to you, like, just go astray, and that just sucks. But anyways, this person was giving me instructions on to where to go, and then I asked, or maybe I asked, I don't really remember that vividly, but I'm like, yo, can I run? He's like, no, like, strictly like, no, you cannot run. And my brain was like, just being rebellious, and I'm like, I finna do it. I dead sprinted straight into a bleacher, dude. Like, it was like right in front of me, and I just ran full force into that bleacher, and then I fell down. And it was so funny because the whole gym heard it because it was so loud. And like with this story, right? So whenever I ran full force into that bleacher and I fell down, I got back up and I'm like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And I was fine. It was just I just made myself look really stupid, if I'm just being quite honest with you. So some time passed. I didn't get a bloody nose or anything, but that was just funny. So I wanted to say that story with me just running straight into a bleacher. Like, it's just so surreal to think about, like, how much brain cells I had back then. Like, I swear, when you're a kid, you have, like, second to none when it comes to brain cells. But it was funny at the end of the day, and it's something to reflect on and to just scoff at. But that was that, and I think I have more, because this one doesn't necessarily go with me, but this is with someone else, and then I'll get one that goes back directly on me. But so this person, right? His name shall not be named because I just like privacy with these other people, and especially because, like, what if this video blows up one day, and then everybody's like, "Yo, what up, person?" I don't know. I don't think that'll really happen, but like, just the odds of that would be impossible. There's like 7 billion people in the world. I really don't think that'd really happen. But the point is, with this person, right? He loved his Flamas. And dude, Flamas, the Doritos are insane. Like, they are so good. Like, I literally remember vividly. Like, one day I'm just like pleading with my mom, "Can you please get the Doritos, please?" Like, that was my voice. I was like, dude, I just wanted to get it so bad because these Doritos are so good. But anyways, back to the story. So my friend back then liked these Doritos so much, like, he was just like secretly eating them out of the trash. Like, he would like hide them in the trash and make it look like he wasn't eating, or maybe I don't remember that vividly, but like, I think he was like trying to hide it. And then whenever the teacher caught him and starting to eat his chips, the teacher said to throw him in the trash, so he did throw him in the trash. And then I'm pretty sure, like, at the end of the period, if I'm not mistaken, he went and just grabbed the chips and he just started eating them. Dude, it was so funny. Like, I just died laughing because not only did I start dying laughing, it was also like somebody else too. Like, the thing is about this that is so funny is that this would happen on multiple different occasions, which would just make it that much more funny, to be quite honest with you. So now with this other story, this one's gonna go back on me. Alright, so this one's really funny. And it was like a Purdue thing, right? It was so stupid. Like, the teacher asked, "So which one do you like, Purdue or IU?" And we got into separate groups, one on the left side of the room, one on the right. And I was like, "Oh, Purdue, for sure." And I went to the Purdue side. But what was so funny, and I still remember this, I had an IU sweatshirt on. Dude, it couldn't be more the opposite. Like, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I love Purdue." And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, let me wear my IU sweatshirt today." It was by like complete happenstance. It was by sheer coincidence, but man, was it funny. Like, I went to the right side, and I was like, oh yeah, Purdue for sure. And then I had an IU sweatshirt on, and the everybody in the class looked at me whenever the teacher picked me out, and she was like, why are you wearing an IU sweatshirt if you went to the Purdue side? It sounds like a huge contradiction. And I tried to explain myself, but dude, it just looked so bad. And everybody was just laughing like the whole class period. And there's a lot of situations with that class of me just making myself look dumb. But dude, it's all funny to look back on and to reflect on because this was when I was a lot younger and I was a lot more naive as a kid. But overall, I hope you guys did enjoy this story time. This one went back on a lot of different stories in this same class, and I have a particular story time which I will be getting into maybe the next one or something. And this was with something in particular which was just so funny, and it relates to zombies. So I have quite a few of those when it comes to that, and I hope you guys will enjoy that in the next story time. Maybe the next one. I'm not really that sure because I still have to like nitpick and stuff, and who knows, I may be able to add some more to it. The way it can be a longer story time. Anyways, as usual, have yourselves a good one, and peace out, you mad lads.